Well, good morning, everyone. It is 7 o'clock and time to kick off the Real Monica Adams show. We are live from my home today, a big day for all of you looking forward to the total solar eclipse. Right now, we're on Facebook and YouTube. We should be on Rumble and X. For some reason, Instagram didn't fire today, but we'll be sure to share some reels from that, from the big day, the total solar eclipse day, a little bit later on this morning. I would love to know where you're going to watch it. Are you going to travel? We've been keeping an eye on Interstate 55 in the southbound direction. A lot of people talking about going to Poplar Bluff or Cape Girardeau, or maybe you traveled out of our area like our aspiring meteorologist did, Beckett Moore. We're going to check in with him in just a second. I've got some news you can use. Some of it has to do with the country music world. We'll talk about sports news for all of our teams, the Cardinals, the Battlehawks, St. Louis City SC, and our St. Louis Blues, and a recall on some of those safety glasses for the total eclipse. So just be aware that you may have purchased some and maybe they have a recall. Maybe there's actually an issue with the ones you have. I hope not, but we'll talk about all of that today and we'll break down the solar eclipse. Let's join our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, this morning. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Good to see you. Okay. I was just mentioning, I love your background. So let's look at this. You are in Hot Springs, Arkansas, right?
Yes, I am.
That's amazing. Okay, tell us about your setup there.
So right here we've got a telescope. This is how I'm going to be viewing the eclipse. And right here on the front of it, there's a solar filter. You don't want to look at the sun through a telescope without a solar filter. And then this, you point towards the sun and you try and get the sun to go right here so you can have this so you're seeing the sun through the telescope. And then right here is a phone mount so you can put your phone right on here and view the eclipse through the telescope and take photos and videos, and hopefully it'll work out well, and that's how I'm planning to get photos of the eclipse.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up because there's a lot of people that think, "Oh, I'll just take the pictures with my phone, etc." But you have to make sure that you have the right filters for your phone and for your telescope.
Yes, for sure. And one of the things we got like a last minute here for the solar eclipse, it's called a solar snap, and you just Velcro this onto your phone as a solar filter for your phone camera. So we're planning on using those, and we'll see how those work out. But I think that'll work out pretty well.
Very cool. Now, you actually traveled to Hot Springs on Friday,
Yes,
right?
yes, that's when we got here.
And I saw some videos that you were posting. Were you at some kind of a horse race?
Yeah, yesterday we were at Oaklawn horse racing track, so that was really cool.
Very cool. So I know you
Yeah.
and your family enjoy Hot Springs, which is one of the reasons you wanted to go there. But again, excited about the totality today. What are you most excited about this afternoon?
Definitely the moments in totality when the sky goes dark. That's always just an incredible moment. I remember from 2017 when it just felt like it was nighttime, and we're gonna have about I think around 4 minutes, maybe higher on the end of 3 minutes, and maybe 3 minutes and 45 seconds or something like that here in Hot Springs. So we'll have a while to look at it, and then the actual eclipse, the partial eclipse, the totality will be from starting at 1:51, I think here, and ending around 1:55, but the eclipse in general, just the eclipse going across the moon covering the sun, is going to last here from 12:31 to 3:10, so
Oh,
a
wow.
while as it goes over the sun.
And again, the only time that you can take those glasses off is when it is in totality. And then that's the
Yes.
darkness. And that's when there's so much silence. It's really cool. Everybody tell everybody that's around you, don't say anything, because one of the biggest things that I loved back in 17 was the silence. It's almost eerie. And then we
Yeah.
talked about the insects and the animals, which we'll do in just a second. For our immediate area, what's the time frame for us, Beckett?
So for the immediate area, we should have the most amount, the most amount of totality. Although it won't be a total solar eclipse. It'll be a partial, but 99%. That should be around the same time as here in Arkansas, probably around 2 p.m. time frame, late into the 1 o'clock hour.
Okay, and so let's talk about what could hinder the viewing of the eclipse. We've been talking about cloud cover, and I turned on a couple of the stations this morning, and they were talking about high level clouds. There is some ground fog as travelers are on 55 going out near the Sykeston and Poplar Bluff and Cape Girardeau area, where a lot of people are wanting to travel. But overall, we're crossing our fingers. What are you hoping for us?
So I think at St. Louis, we're mainly just gonna have high-level clouds. Same situation down here in Arkansas. The good thing about those high-level clouds is usually with cirrus, which is a high-level cloud, you can see through them, so you'll still be able to see the solar eclipse. And right now, we got clear skies here in Hot Springs, and I don't know about the situation in St. Louis. I think we got about the same situation there, but some higher clouds will likely move in throughout the day. But that shouldn't hamper too much on us viewing the solar eclipse because we'll still be able to see through them. And we're not gonna have overcast or anything like that. Mostly sunny skies, I think, for both locations.
And I know we don't have the graphics that we usually have because he's in Hot Springs, obviously. But temperature wise, what are we expecting? And then do we have some rain coming in for the next few days after today?
Yes, so today we got a high around 80 degrees in
Wow.
St. Louis, and then we're going to be cooling down as we go into the midweek. Getting into the 60s for high and really warming back up as we go into late week and into the weekend. Of course, we do have those rain chances into tomorrow and Wednesday as well.
Well, this is very exciting. Obviously, this is what the news is all about. Everywhere people would be looking online, and if they are turning on news stations, whatever, we're all talking about it. People traveling from all over. I know that Lambert Airport was super busy because people were traveling into our area and then heading south again in the Cape Girardeau, the Poplar Bluff area. So we're excited. I can't wait to be able to talk to you after you experience it because you were only 7 years old when it came through last time. So there's a big difference now.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So, how about this? Beckett and I are going to sit down and we want to talk about what the phenomenon is all about. We're going to talk about the safety aspect. We just mentioned the eeriness of when the totality happens with what happens, with our animals and insects, etc. So, how about we sit down with Don Ficken? Don actually is a friend of the Moores. He is with the St. Louis Astronomical Society. And then we'll come back and we'll visit a little bit more with Beckett before we talk to Dr. Sean Neary, who is, of course, with Mid America Spine and Rehab. And he's actually going to talk about barometric changes in weather and how it affects our body, which I think is really cool. So,
Yeah.
Becca will be back with you shortly, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, fantastic.
You are truly an incredible human being, and just what you're doing is so inspiring. This was really a cathartic experience for me. So I appreciate you, love you. It's been an honor to not only just be here on set with you, but just to sit in your presence. You inspire everyone around you, from your motivational speaking to your podcast here, to just being the human that you are.
It's just such a joy to be able to see you at this point in your career. Really following your passion, fulfilling your dreams, and encouraging other people to do the same.
I feel that I've been missing out. I believe God places people like you in people's lives for a reason. You have definitely been a God wing for me.
Oh, I love hearing that every single time. It's just such a blessing to be a part of each and every one of your lives. Today's a big day. We were talking about a little bit ago, the solar eclipse. Now, I remember when I was at Fox 2 and I was reporting, and I was actually at the MoDOT headquarters. We were standing out in front. I wore a yellow dress that day. And as we were getting closer and closer, I flipped over to see how many of you were paying attention. I put the black dress over the top of the yellow dress, and then it was completely black. And then I started to change to where you could see just a little bit of the yellow and the black. I love fashion. So I've got a little something up my sleeve for you today, but we also are going to go in depth into the science of it all. As I mentioned, Beckett was going to stick around with us, and we're going to talk with him also as he gets to see the eclipse in Hot Springs, Arkansas. But we've been mentioning over the last couple of weeks that we're going to have a guest on as well. And I want to thank not only our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, but Don Ficken, who is with the St. Louis Astronomical Society. Both of you, thanks for being on with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Don, I want to start with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And I know it depends on the time of the day and the week and the month when I get you, because you're involved in a lot of things. But with regards to this, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am an amateur astronomer. I'm a retired business guy, and in 2017, I was the guy that managed the Solar Eclipse Task Force for St. Louis. So it
Oh,
was
wow.
a big learning experience for me, and you probably were somewhere involved with some of the stuff that I actually did. And so I'm doing this again with 2000 this eclipse this year, and I'm not chairing the statewide task force, but I am representing the St. Louis area.
Fantastic. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because we had this back in 2017, and here we are again. Why is it such a phenomenon? And people literally, I mean, a year in advance or even more, they're starting to book their travel, they're booking their B&Bs and where they're going to stay. Why is that?
Well, it's really some magic of nature, actually. We're pretty spoiled. We just had an eclipse, total solar eclipse in 2017, and we have another one coming up here in just our state. So we think, oh, this happens all the time. But actually, before 2017, the Metro St. Louis area didn't have one until 1442.
Oh,
So,
wow.
they happen pretty commonly, but you have to be just in the right spot, and a lot of things have to happen to make it really work right.
Fascinating. Beckett?
What are the proper safety precautions to take when viewing the eclipse?
Well, the very first thing, obviously, is that you need to protect your eyes. There's really two ways to look at an eclipse. One is to project the sun in a way like a mirror to a wall or something like that. You're never really looking at the sun. But if you're looking at the sun, you have to have protection on. The only time that you cannot look directly and I'm going to say where the sun was, is when there's the total eclipse itself. In other words, the sun is actually blocked. But any sliver of light, you do not want to look toward the sun without some type of protection.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
We're looking at the glasses, but how do we know that? Because there's a lot of people out there trying to prey on everybody and just sell something. How do we know that they are actually official?
Well, first off, there's an ISO standard on the back, which I don't have that right in front of me, but it's an ISO standard that is recommended by the American Astronomical Society. And if you go to their website, if you go to, by the way, moeclipse.org, a lot of stuff that I will be talking about is right there. But you need to make sure first that those glasses have the correct standard, okay? But you need to go a little further than that. Mm-hmm. We found that actually, and they're starting to show up fraudulent glasses. People are taking copies of the exact glasses and putting sunglasses or something like that in there. So you need to make sure they not only have the correct ISO standard, but they came from the correct source directly. So in other words, you know for sure that the people that are approved produced those and got those to you, and that somebody didn't just make a copy of them and make it look like it came from there.
Yeah, and again, it's the dangerous aspect of it all, because I know people will try to say, oh, I can just put sunglasses on, or I can make this, but they're not making it right. Can you tell us what levels of things we should absolutely not be doing? And I'm going to show a couple slides here of no-nos.
Yeah, well, the old thing basically is obviously just look at the sun. And people, by the way, they make a mistake. They tend to look at the sun and then they put the glasses on. First off, bad news. That's the wrong order. You need to look away from the sun, put the glasses on, and look back, right? You should not try to use sunglasses. Even multiple sunglasses will not really make it work. You should not try to use the old CDs. Remember the CDs that you have? You need to make sure.
Do you know what a CD is?
Yeah, he's completely lost on that one, right? But and you can use welding glasses, but I think it's number 14 or darker, something like that. So you really, if you look at the glasses at the sun, you should see the sun fine. But if you look at like a light bulb, you'll barely see the light bulb, just the filament itself. And that's not even really a good test, because there's other light that could come through that's not really being tested by that test itself.
And Becky, before I have you ask a question, I want to address the thing on the right. I've been seeing a lot of articles talking about how you could use a kitchen calendar. Is that true?
Is that Beckett you're asking?
No. Sorry, Don, you. Before Beckett asks his next question.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is correct. So the calendars are fun. You can even during the totality and basically right up to totality, there's all these little crescents will start happening. So calendars are pretty good. You can actually get crackers that have the little holes in them, like the simple crackers. You can cross your fingers and they'll make a little eclipses. They're really, really fun to do because the shadows will get very sharp during that transitional period, and it's really, really fun to do that.
Crackers. Now that one I've never heard.
Yeah, crackers. A little pinhole that's in those crackers will make a little eclipse. Yeah.
Becky, when you were in school, did you make, because I remember being in grade school, and when we were like, oh, let's talk about this in science, we would make the boxes and we would put what was it? It was aluminum foil and then a pinhole in it. Did you do this?
I don't think I've ever made one, but I was watching a video on it yesterday. And do you know any other cool ways to view the eclipse, like cereal boxes and those type of things?
Yeah, so those are all good ways, and I think that one of the things with the boxes, one of the reasons they use a box is that when you make the little pinhole, and by the way, the size of the pinhole, the actual projection screen needs to be 1,000 times the size of that hole. It sounds like a crazy statistic, but that'll give you a sharp image. But the reason they put their head in a box is it darkens the screen so that you can see that eclipse much better. And we happen to be right now approaching what's called solar maximum, which is really the time that the sun is very active. And so there could be some amazing sunspots that you'll be able to see nicely with some of these projection systems.
Okay, let's break this down. What is happening? And obviously it depends on where we are. I was talking with Beckett asking when the totality would be in the Arkansas area. And what time did you say, Beckett?
It'll come into the state at 1:45 and leave the state at 2.
And so what are we expecting in our area, Don?
Yeah, so basically there's multiple parts to this. You start with, and it depends on the specific area that you're in. And let me see here. For the Metro St. Louis area, or the Cape Girardeau area, it's about 12:41 is when the moon begins to move in front of the sun. And that's when what's called a partial eclipse starts. And by the way, everybody in the U.S. will have a partial eclipse. All right. And then it'll take a little while for the moon to move in front of the sun, and what's called second contact. And that's where it actually begins the total eclipse if you happen to be in the area where totality is possible. Otherwise, it'll be just what's called the maximum eclipse, okay? And then after that, you can have up to 4 minutes, something a little over 4 minutes, and then the moon will start moving off and it'll go away. So if you want me to describe a little bit about what will happen during that process?
Please, yes.
Okay, so what will happen is that when the partial eclipse starts, no matter where you are, it'll take a long time for anything really noticeable to happen, really, because as it gets closer and closer to totality, our maximum eclipse, if you're in a partial area, it'll become more like a twilight. So if you happen to be 99.9%, the best you're going to get is like a little twilight. You're not going to get anything amazing going on. You'll get some crescents on the ground and some things like that, but you really are looking for that. So once the moon moves in front of the sun, right before that, first of all, there'll be a diamond ring, right? That's where they announces the eclipse is happening. That's a little sun peeking around the edges, okay? And you can have what's called Bailey's beads. So Bailey beads, what that is that it turns out that the moon is not really round. It has mountains, it has valleys. And the valleys will let the light through, and the mountains will block those. And it's a really good time, by the way, for scientists to figure out how tall things are on the. So you have Bailey's beads, you'll have the little diamond ring, and then once, boom, the totality happens, that's when the magic really is happening, okay? We'll have a very active sun right now. So on the very outer, sort of like the northern lights, except in white, you'll have this beautiful glowing kind of thing. It's called the corona. And what's amazing about the corona is really no brighter than the full moon, but you can never see it without the sun itself being blocked, okay? And then if you look closer to the moon, you'll see these pinkish things. And by the way, if you're in totality, you can actually look using binoculars, okay?
Okay.
Don't do that any other time. But once you look at that little pinky stuff, that's called the chromosphere. And the chromosphere is one of the outer layers, just past the photosphere. And it turns out that the chromosphere is 10 times hotter than the sun itself. They don't quite understand that from a science point of view, but how cool that is, right?
Yeah.
And so then basically you'll have some other things happen as it starts moving off and reversing. You'll have some planets available, maybe a comet available, and some other stuff like that.
And so, again, if you're just tuning in, Don Ficken is our guest along with Beckett Moore. Don is with the St. Louis Astronomical Society. We're breaking down what it looks like for the solar eclipse in our area. So the best would be if people want to travel to Cape Girardeau. If they're not in Cape Girardeau, they stay within their own St. Louis County, St. Louis City, just across the river area. How different will it look for us here as opposed to, a few hours away?
Yeah, so the difference is it's sort of like if you bought a Super Bowl ticket and you sat in the parking lot. That's St. Louis, all right?
Okay.
You're going to hear it all. It's going to be for age, but you'll never really get anything. It'll be like a twilight. Okay, really fun. People say that I've seen it before or whatever else, but you won't see another one, by the way, in St. Louis until 2505.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so don't get your calendars out. I think it's a long way away. So
Yes.
pretty much you're toast if it's 99.99%, because you still have that bright sun coming through, and it will completely block out all the good stuff.
Beckett?
Yeah. So I was just going to ask a follow-up. So the next total solar eclipse, when will that be in Missouri?
Actually, for Missouri, it's 2178.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Beckett, you might be here.
Maybe.
Maybe. We will not.
And it turns out that one reaches just a little north of St. Louis, which is why that it really will not happen again until St. Louis till 2505. So it doesn't quite even reach St. Louis.
Wow.
So I'm going to break it down this way. Everybody knows I love fashion. So this is the hope of having the real sunshine, which Becca, you and were talking about as we move closer and closer to April 8th, if we're going to have cloudy skies, partly cloudy, we'll break down of what it would be. So if we don't leave St. Louis and we decide, I'm sorry, let's do it this way. If we're in Cape Girardeau, okay, Don?
Okay.
If we're in Cape Girardeau and it starts to happen, what's the percentage in Cape Girardeau?
Oh, it's totality. It's over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's going to be completely like this. I've got nothing showing, but
that's exactly right. Right.
And then as it starts to change, then you start to see the sun come back. But in St. Louis, if we don't drive to Cape Girardeau, would it be more like this?
Yeah. And think of your yellow is so bright that I can't even see you right now. So we wouldn't see all that nice hair and all that, smiley face. You're blocked out. Okay.
Otherwise, at the point that we're in Cape Girardeau, at the point at totality, that's when you can take the glasses off.
That's correct, right?
That is such a cool point. I'm going to go back to the sunshine because I love sunshine. And then the sunshine reappears for us once it's moved past. What's the timing of it all? How long does it take?
Well, it depends where you are, obviously. So if the path itself is 125 miles wide. So if you're on the edge of the path, you'll have a little less totality. If you're in the center of the path, you have a little bit more totality. And so, for example, I think Cape's a little over 4 minutes. I have to look that up exactly. But anyway, it's getting up to pretty high numbers as far as the actual time itself. But if you get on the edges, you could have maybe a few minutes, which, by the way, is still more than the last 2017 eclipse, what they actually had, right?
So some people, depending on where you are in the country, might just have something like this. Looks like a bee.
Yeah.
Right?
And you might even need to take that thing a little bit more, because some of the areas of the country will have almost nothing.
It'll be like a cape.
Exactly. There you
just
go.
a little bit.
That's right.
See, you talked about Super Bowl. I always got to talk in fashion.
So then it'll be like a little cloud, barely coming over for a short time. It's gone away. That's it. That's all the brightness change you'll see.
So, Don, if you were talking to a group of kids, and I know that you get a chance to speak in front of a lot of different people, how do you really make them understand what's taking place that day? Let's talk and maybe some of the parents can show this to the kids and the grandkids. If you're talking to them, how do you break it down for them to really make them understand?
Well, I think the best thing with children is it's for them to understand what a shadow is. I know that sounds strange, but if you were to shine a light up against them and they were to see their shadow, mm-hmm. that's a start, right? And that's really all that's really happening. The sun is projecting onto the moon is blocking the light, and it's coming down to a little 125 mile wide shadow. And that's really what's happening. And what's really amazing about it is that it moves so fast across. So in other words, they could run and chase their shadow and they'll never catch it, right? So and that's really it's all about shadows, and and how the moon goes around the earth, and it happens to just line up perfectly to block the sun. And that's a very rare event. It turns out, by the way, that the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times further away than the moon, and it just is perfect, has to come together perfectly to make that little eclipse.
It's fascinating. Beckett?
What is the difference between an annular solar eclipse versus a total solar eclipse?
That's a great question. So an annular eclipse means the moon is lined up just perfectly. It goes right in front of the sun, but it's too far away. In other words, to really block it. So it'll show some of the light. If you were to take your finger and you would hold that up to your face, if you move it away, you'll find that you can't block something, but if you move it really close, you can find it can block your vision of whatever you're trying to look at. And that's all it really is. It's just a little bit too far away.
And one of the things Beckett and I talked about a couple of weeks ago that I find fascinating, but it makes sense as it's happening, is that animals suddenly start to become stirring around, trying to figure out what's going on, and insects and all of that become completely silent. Isn't that what happens?
Yeah, it's a very. In fact, I'm actually doing a citizen science thing called NASA Soundscapes, and so we're really trying to capture the sounds and study what's happening. We're comparing this, by the way, to a study 100 years ago where they did this by paper, right? But we're doing this with audio devices this time. But what the Missouri Department of Conservation tells me is that this is the time of year when the robins are very busy. They call it the dawn chorus, right? And so what's interesting to find out is, well, if the sun rises at, by the way, 5:09 is when I'm finding out the robins start coming out, because I've just measured that. If the robins and others start really getting busy in the very early morning, right, and then they tend to go to, roost at night, will we have at the middle of the day, will the sun set and they start thinking it's night, and then the sun rise and they'll start thinking it's day, and start the whole process over again. So yes, insects, birds. Last time we literally had animals going back to the barn. It was predicted to actually happen. People were going, they were fishing. They were having an amazing amount of luck. It's just like a sunset, right? They're having a great time with this. And this time it'll be darker. It'll be a little bit darker because this is a 4-minute eclipse, not a 2-minute eclipse.
Okay. Beckett, any other questions?
I just want to know, what are your plans for viewing the eclipse?
Well, I will start in a little town, southern Missouri, and I will chase the weather. That's what I did last time. I will find, it turns out that we have a mix of weather for that day, probably 50-50 chance. And so we could have perfectly good skies and one cloud in the wrong spot, and we could have perfectly bad skies and a big hole, but who knows? But anyway, I'll probably chase it.
Exactly. Fingers crossed. No.
And Becky, you want to tell everybody why you chose Arkansas?
Why I chose Arkansas is because Hot Springs, we've been there before and we really love it there. Very scenic place, and it'll be a fun trip even if there is cloud cover. But hopefully we don't get that cloud cover, because it'll be a very cool event for sure to see the eclipse.
Sure. Well, if you all remember where you were 7 years ago, maybe you go back there again and you say, okay, I'll do this all over again. Or there's so many different people and organizations and businesses that are planning special events for today. They're handing out glasses to the first maybe 100 people or so that come in. We mentioned at the beginning of the interview, make sure you provide to those people coming in safety glasses, or make sure that you have them. Do not look directly into the sun. Don, we were talking about all of these emergency rooms and eye doctors, et cetera, that were treating people, and some people that thought they had proper glasses and they've got retina issues and cornea issues. It really can be a dangerous thing.
That is correct, right? So it's not worth taking a chance. It's a wonderful event, but not worth taking a chance with your eyes.
So one more time as we wrap up, what time are we expecting to see all this take place here in our immediate area?
Well, actually, I don't have the specifics for here, but for Cape Girardeau, it doesn't change that much. It starts about 12:41 or so, but the real maximum for the St. Louis here, and again, this will not be totality, it'll be at about 2 o'clock. And then everything will start going away. So.
Okay. Wonderful, Don. You have been fantastic. I'm so glad that Beckett had a chance to introduce the two of us together. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to go this afternoon, but I'm going to do something. I was reporting on it back in 2017, and I think I've got a good friend that's out in Cape Girardeau, and I might head out that way just to be around the phenomenon of it all. Or I love the fact that so many people are planning things. One of our sponsors, Defiance Ridge Vineyards, is having something out in the Defiance Augusta area. We've got some other people that are in Illinois. Maybe I'll chase it like Don's going to chase it.
Yeah, that's not a bad plan sometimes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. You are a wealth of knowledge, and hopefully our paths might cross again in the future, since I know you wear so many different hats.
All right. Awesome. It's good to see you, Beckett, too. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
All right. We'll have more. Stay with us here on The Real Monica Adams Show.
Yeah.
We need women to lift women up.
Let's do that.
Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with our viewers and our listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey. You're close.
Monica. Whoa.
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind.
Absolutely. Isn't that what it's all about? We are at the halfway mark of the total solar eclipse day, kind of like as it's going to be moving. I haven't had a chance to look at everybody's comments just yet, and we haven't given you some of the news that I think you can use. Now, you just heard us talk about the aspect of the safety of the glasses. Let me give this to you because there was a Facebook post that included the glasses that were being recalled. So the ISO on those, by the way, say 12312-1. According to the American Optometric Association, eclipse glasses should have an ISO of 12312-2. Once again, look at your glasses, 12312-2. So that's according to the doctors, optometric. Again, whether you have glasses from 2017, those still could be good because many people wondered if those expired. No, they actually said if they don't have an expiration on them, you could still use the ones from back in 2017 if they're in good condition. So ISO 12312-2, please know that. Some of the markets, by the way, in Union, Missouri, Finks, Alps, if you got one from there, Midtown Market in St. Charles, Missouri, B&H Market in Pacific, Breeze, Illinois. You may have bought them at Farm Fresh Market, all Karsh Market locations. And I know we have one of those in the Barnhart area. I think there's one in Farmington, Highland, Illinois. If you went to Highland True Buy in Cuba, Missouri, Mace Supermarket, Pinckneyville, Illinois, Perry County Marketplace, Save-A-Lots in St. Clair, Missouri, Cedar Hill, St. John, and Peevely, Sinclair Foods in Jerseyville, Illinois, all Straub's Market locations, St. Clair, Missouri, if you bought them at St. Clair County, Country Mart, Steelville Marketplace, and then K&R Market in Marthasville, Missouri. These are stores that issued a recall for the glasses that may not meet the safety standards. So I wanted to take care of you. That, to me, is the biggest news you can use. In sports news, how about the Battlehawks? Record attendance with their win, 27-24 on Saturday, but they had a record of 40,317. Did any of you go to the game? We were at the St. Louis City SC game, and that was a tie. That, to me, and I posted this over the weekend, was absolutely a game between the goalkeepers, between the nets. I mean, save after save on Dallas' side, on St. Louis City SC side. We had such a blast. So, Sally, thank you so much for inviting us. Jim and I had a wonderful time. Would have loved to have seen a win, but at least it was a tie. The Blues, unfortunately, out of the playoffs. They did beat Anaheim 6-5 in overtime, but that, as far as our hopes for a wild card playoff berth, that did not happen. And the Cardinals, they lose 10-3 to Miami yesterday. They are going to play the Phillies tonight. In fact, that's a 3-game series. Tonight's game 6:45. And I love to see the CMT Awards. So here's something that I think you would enjoy from a trending standpoint. CMT honored Toby Keith. You know, we lost him to cancer, and it was so cool. Everybody in the audience was holding their red solo cups up. Sammy Hagar was even there. Obviously, several current country music artists and the role that he played in their lives. Just an incredible man. I was blessed to meet him on many occasions when I used to cover the CMA Awards. When I worked at WIL, we would go down to Nashville every year. So very cool to see that. And then congrats to Jelly Roll. I mean, sweeping the awards. So that's what happened with regards to CMT. Before we get into our Medical Monday segment with Dr. Sean Neary, let me look at some of the comments here and say hello to so many of you. We got a ton of people watching on X, by the way. We're up to 81 live right now. Looks like we've got about 28 on my business Facebook page. We've got a couple on the personal page. Nobody on Instagram today. Not sure why that didn't fire, but I want to welcome the people on Rumble as well. Every single day, we're adding new platforms for you. And that's what you would get, by the way, if you are part of our team. And so if you'd like to become a sponsor, let me put my email address up for you, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and give you some breaking news. We've had to shift some things around with our mobile Monicas. So there is an incredible opportunity for you this Thursday. I thought we were going to be out at a boutique on Main Street in St. Charles, but that's actually going to be after May. So do you have a restaurant? Do you have a boutique? Do you have a festival that you want to promote? Do you have an event coming up? On Thursday, we could be at your business or at your family's business or your neighbors or your friends. Do you know somebody that would love to have us take our show on the road and do Mobile Monica this coming Thursday? If so, you got to get a hold of me right away so we can start promoting that for them. We also have an opening on April 25th. We've got a lot of bookings in May and in June for big events coming up on the summer. We've, of course, got Pawsitive Talk Time, which is a regular segment every other Thursday. If you don't know about that, we do that at Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue every other Thursday with Jessica Cook, and we'll be back with her next Thursday. We also have our Wednesday bonus segment that we do at 4 o'clock in the afternoon from Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And again, they're going to have a big solar eclipse party today. That's on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. That's a lot of fun. We do the Wet Your Whistle Wednesday and feature different Missouri wines and California wines, etc. Sit down and talk about some events coming up. But if you would like to have a segment that we would like to name after you, there's a lot of opportunities for you to get in front of thousands upon thousands of very dedicated, and I stress that, dedicated viewers. Let me say hi to some of them. Sean, Lisa, good morning. Julie Purcell, good morning to you. Sean said he's working today. Good morning, Marilyn. Kathy, good morning and happy Monday to Julie Fabian. Carrie, good morning. Unfortunately, won't be watching the eclipse. Yeah, I saw you went into the hospital. I hope everything's good with that. Leona, good morning. Linda Eckert, good morning. Kathleen Morris, good morning. Julie Fabian, if you are near a window, you will see it get dark. Yes. Linda, watching from my yard today, we are at 99.99%, or they said 0.333 of a mile from the edge. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Exactly. Sciatica. Okay, well, that's good. You're going to be okay, Carrie. So sorry to hear this. Positive vibes coming your way to you from all of us. I'm going to put a pair of eclipse glasses in front of my iPhone for pictures. Yes, because you want to have some really cool pictures out there. Kathy Holden Reed, good morning to you. Wayne Johnson Sr., Luann Petrie, good morning. And Luann, I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Can we watch the eclipse with our sunglasses? No, come on, you know that. Not sure where to get eclipse glasses. Well, you should have gotten them already. If not, I think it's slim chances unless you go to an event where they will be handing them out for you. Thought I'd be working and not able to view, but now I'm able to. You absolutely 100% hopefully heard that you cannot watch them with your sunglasses. Trisha Havera, good morning from Glen Carbon. Well, hi, Trisha. Let's see. Julie, absolutely. Everybody's saying no to you. Monica, how did your appointment go on Friday with the doctor? It went incredible, and we'll be hearing about that in a week because I took a ton of footage, not just me, but Jim went as well. So thank you for asking. We're going to break all that down because today I wanted to focus more on the barometric pressure changes and the changes in weather and what that does to our body. But yes, Julie Purcell, I will be talking about my firsthand experience with Mid-America Spine and Rehab in 1 week. So 1 week from today, okay? Angie, if you don't have eclipse glasses, I do know that many firehouses. Oh, thank you. See, I love this community. Firehouses have them still to sell. Well, that's cool. I actually asked Jim if they had them at the police station, and he said no. So firehouses, that's awesome to know. Let's see. Anybody else? And the Mobile on the Run gas stations were selling the glasses over the weekend. Yeah, they're probably out now, but you might want to check. I'm not sure if they still have them. She's in the Richmond Heights area. Linda said she saw a cool way to help kids use their solar glasses. Take a paper plate, cut spots for the lens area and your nose attached to the glasses behind the plate. They can then hold the plate up to their face, much easier to keep in place than the glasses. And did you all enjoy learning that you can use a colander? And then we used to do, again, the cutout of the box and the aluminum foil and the little pinhole. So if you don't have glasses, you could Google ways to make them. Great analogy, Dude Playground. Again, we love Richard Melching. I think Richard's working on having us come out to Dude's Playground for a future Mobile Monica, which I can't wait for. Learning the visuals, right? Dan Gray, my former Fox 2 colleague, he actually had a really cool post where he used, and he was breaking it down to his grandkids, and he used Oreo cookies, and he would change, and you could see more of the icing. I loved that. So yeah, I had to use fashion. If you go to Cape, you can see, yes, Adam Wainwright will be in concert. You got to pay for that, though. He opened up for Zach Brown over the week. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see him. He, of course, sang his single, Hey Y'all, and he'll be doing that in Cape Girardeau. So yeah, there are still some tickets available for that. You're hilarious, Monica. Love the fashion demo. Thank you so much, Beckett. You're doing amazing things. Why are the shadows of the trees so weird during the eclipse? I think it's because of all the crescents, right, that you see as it's starting to happen. Not looking forward to the cicadas in June, and we're actually going to be bombarded with what we see come back on a regular basis, and then those that have not been here forever. So it's going to be nuts. For some reason, my husband says that he loves it, and it reminds him of spring, or excuse me, summer so much, or it reminds him of the South. He loves the sound. I cannot stand the sound of the cicadas. What are you on, Team Jim or Team Monica with that? Thank you for your expertise. Yes, we love Don. Eclipse classes, again, as Michelle put in, I think that's the biggest news you can use from today is that they need to read the ISO 12312-2, not 1. If they have 1, please do not use them. You could hurt your eyes. Jill said, here's a link from NASA that gives the eclipse time by the zip code. Thank you, Jill and Marty. Those are the parents to our wonderful Beckett. Let's see, anybody else? Yep, you are saying it correctly. So thank you, Luann Petrie. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. I thought of a Petri dish. Bring on the cicadas. Great fishing bait, says Richard. I want to say congratulations also because, oh yeah, Jill says, Team Monica, ooh, cicadas are gross. Congratulations. I'm going to say this early because I haven't had a chance to check their page yet. I don't think I missed anything, but Brock and Brittany Wilson, who have been on our show. And, I used to personal train with them. I love them. They're doing some really cool things as they are expanding to the other side of force performance in Brentwood. So if you can't personal train with me or do semi-private training, by the way, there is a woman who reached out to me. I'll be getting to you in about an hour about private training. If you can't train with me, private, semi-private, or in classes, then there are a handful of people that I would recommend, and Brock and Brittany are two of them. Incredible trainers, incredible, beautiful facility, by the way. It's called Force Performance. There's going to be a baby Wilson coming today. If I haven't seen, but if she hasn't had the baby already, they are inducing Brittany today. So congratulations going out to you. And then if she doesn't have it until Wednesday, Becky, who is a dear friend of mine who used to be a producer with us at Fox 2, she will have a baby on Wednesday. So 2 inductions that will be taking place today and on Wednesday. So congratulations to both of them. And speaking of which, this is kind of interesting. I was talking about a gym. So here's another thing about news you can use, which I thought was very interesting. Not in our immediate area, I don't think, but there was a story that I saw this morning about Planet Fitness and some bogus bomb threats that took place in Florida, but there was about 20 of them. So I hope none of that happened in our immediate area, but that's kind of scary. And it was all because of kind of some hate that took place of somebody that was taking a picture of somebody else in a bathroom. They said it was like transgender. I think the person was like shaving, and they posted that out there. And so they said there was a bomb threat in Jacksonville, Florida, and then to multiple Planet Fitness locations. So it kind of was a scare to those that work out at the ones here. But there was also people saying, if that's taking place, I'm not going to work out there anymore. Elon Musk actually was quoted as saying how creepy Planet Fitness was. So again, can we stop the hate and just throwing hate left and right? Enough already. That's all I have to say. All right, 7:43. The other thing that we want to do is to talk about barometric pressure changes and what that does to the body. So we're going to have Dr. Sean Neary on with us next from Mid-America Spine and Rehab. So stay tuned for that.
Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Well, welcome back. We are going to continue our talk about the changes in barometric pressure, changes in the weather, etc. So it is Medical Monday, and we have Dr. Sean Neary from Mid-America Spine and Rehab on with us. And we're talking about partly cloudy skies. We're talking about changes and what it does to our body. First of all, hi, Dr. Neary.
Hi, Monica. Thanks for having me on. This is great. Thank you so much.
And, you know, so a lot of us are thinking about where we're going to watch the solar eclipse, making sure that we have our proper glasses. So
Yes.
this is me taking care of you. You've got your glasses, not the glasses you have on, but you have safety glasses.
I've got 5 of them just in case.
I need one.
I'll bring you one. I got you. All right.
So we're going to, you know, deepen our talk into this. We just talked to Beckett and we talked to Don Ficken, and they're talking about what this phenomenon is all about. The fact that we saw one back in 2017, here we are again, but it's going to be a long time until we have a full totality in a solar eclipse again, which is really, really exciting. Where are you going to watch it today, by the way?
So I'm going to be down in southern Missouri. I was unfortunately in Ohio for the 2017, so I didn't get to see it. And this is going to be the first time, I think, since I was like 8 years old that I got to see a full solar eclipse. And I'm so excited to see this.
It is so amazing. You know, and one of the things that we're going to talk about is, will any of us feel something in our body when all this changes? Maybe not today, but there's aspects of rain and cold weather, etc., that really do affect us. But the biggest thing that we were just talking about in our interview with Beckett and Don was that the insects, the animals, they all don't know what to do, right? We're going from bright to complete darkness, and they think it's time to go to sleep.
And this is one of the biggest things that I have heard about these solar eclipses is how everything just goes silent.
Yep.
Everyone, the bugs, our pets think it's nighttime.
Yes.
So they want to go to sleep.
Right.
But how does that affect us? And I've looked into this a little bit. We won't be affected much. That we might have mild sleep disturbances just because our melatonin might kick in at 2 o'clock. I think at 1:30 to 2 o'clock, whatever the time frame is for this. We should not be affected personally too much by this solar eclipse.
No, so don't go take a nap. You only get about a 4-minute nap. You'll have 4 minutes and it'll be over. If you are in the totality, which again, Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff, it'll be very interesting to see as people are traveling in just how bad the traffic is, because you've got so many people all trying to funnel into this area, which is crazy. But again, please, the biggest message we can get across today is do not try to look directly at it. You need to have those safety glasses until boom, there's like total. And it's just really cool to, you almost feel like, are you sure I can take them off? Because they say, now it's time to take it off.
Right.
But you almost feel like, I can't. What am I going to do to my eyes?
You want to just stare at the sun. Everyone wants to stare at it and see what happens. But no, be careful. Use your glasses only during the totality of it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Dr. Sean Neary, again, Mid-America Spine and Rehab. You know, we just talked about animals. So let's actually start with that before we look at barometric pressure and everyone's big question, which is, why does it hurt when it rains? Why does it hurt when it's cold and it's ice and it's snow and things like that? So right on cue, I hear her bark down below. Oh, you're going to talk about dogs. Yes, we are. Coming off of the interview that we did with Jessica Cook with Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue on Thursday of last week, we discussed sleeping with our dogs. And you and I said we were going to talk about this. So are you guilty of it?
Oh my gosh, every single night. Absolutely. Yeah, my 65-pound pit mix just wants to cuddle up against me. And I love it. I don't know if I could go to sleep without her being there, but oh my gosh, it makes such a difference with my sleep habits when she's there versus when she's not there.
Well, we'll talk about the good things and maybe the bad things of it, but I thought you would enjoy this one. Don't worry, Mom, Dad, we saved you a spot. I don't know where, but somewhere in there you can try to fit.
Somewhere in the middle there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Well, let's just talk about it. There are babies, right? For those of us that weren't blessed with actual children, those are truly our babies.
Yeah.
They want to be by mom and dad. They want to cuddle, or they want to be by brother or sister, right? The kids. They want to cuddle up with you. You and I talked about how they will do the turnaround, they're nesting, and then slam against you.
Right up against your leg. Oh, but the thing is, if they're not sleeping well, you're not sleeping well. Because they're going to get up, they're moving around, they're going to slam up against you, and they're going to transition, and then you wake up during that time.
Yes.
in addition to that, their body temperature is so much higher than ours. We're 98. They're, I think, 102, 103.
And all that fur.
And all that fur, too.
Yes.
Oh, God.
All that. Well, see, that's actually.
Let's not talk about laundry.
No, right. Okay. So here's the thing. So growing up, my mom and dad were always no animals on the couch. They shouldn't be in the bed. We would sneak little Cookie and Rusty in the bed as my brother and myself, and we'd put them under the covers and be like, shh, get very quiet. Right. So we did it just because we loved having them with us, and they love to be with you. But as I had the dogs when Jim and I started dating, and then when we got married, and then we're here, and he's like, no dogs in the bed. Well, of course, that's changed over the years. Now they're up there. He doesn't prefer it. And he's just like, dogs don't belong in the bed. There's dog hair in the bed. You don't sleep. Tessa's, scratching or moving around and slamming into us. And so if we really had a camera on us to find out how much sleep are you actually getting, you probably have a wake-up call, right?
You do have a wake-up call. Yes. The sleep disturbances with dogs is you don't realize what's actually going on there. Yeah. Because you might flip and turn. I call it the rotisserie chicken because you're going from one side to the other and just
call it the fish. We flop around like a fish.
But if you're sleeping great, even though your dog might not be, whenever they get up, they're waking you up too. And your sleep is just being disrupted the entire time. And yes, we love them, but we have to kind of curb that just a little bit.
Well, let's talk about what it's doing, though, because of the position. I mean, literally, you look at this picture and think, if you truly try to sleep in there, well, your head's going to be over on that left side. Your middle torso might be in the middle, and then your legs might be kicked over to the side. So you're in this horrible diagonal pattern. Let's talk about what it's doing to your spine and to your neck.
We want to lay nice, straight, in a neutral position. But if there's a dog there, and as you know, I don't want to disrupt my puppy sleeping. Yeah. So I'm going to move and I'm going to get into this distorted figure to fall back asleep. Just like that. Yep. And then we wake up with neck pain and low back pain because our body has been in a position for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 2 hours, all these, this time frame that we're not supposed to be in.
Yep.
I tell all my patients who are stomach sleepers, for example, we'll get into that topic later. But if I do this for 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, and I'm turned this way for 20 minutes, I'm going to start feeling some pain.
Sure.
Now imagine you're sleeping like that for 45 minutes, an hour, and so on. What's happening to your spine? We're getting all twisted up, and the muscles are becoming unbalanced. The tendons, the ligaments are being stressed.
From a medical standpoint, and I think this is what probably a lot of people need to hear. From a medical standpoint, you would probably say it's not the best for us. From an emotional connection standpoint, you love it. So you have to kind of weigh that, right?
It's a pros and cons type of thing. Your puppy, your cat's going to be fine on the ground or on the couch. They're fine over there. Take care of yourself in your bed.
Well, I think the interesting thing, if you missed the interview with Jessica last week, she was saying that if they jump in the bed on their own, if they're not invited in, that you have to break that. That again, that is your space. And if you choose to, you say, come here, and they come up. They shouldn't beat you to it. They shouldn't be sleeping there on their own. It's again, our space. We're not crawling into their bed and them looking at us like, hey, what are you doing? That's mine. It's the same kind of a thing. And then if they're jumping up and down, as you said, or doing that nesting thing and scratching, again, flipping around, we're not sleeping well. And at that point, you might have to say, look, that's enough. Get down, go back to your own bed.
Yes. Done and done. Get out.
Done and done. Again, it's Medical Monday. So we're talking with Dr. Sean Neary from Mid-America Spine and Rehab. And you saw the slide that I have. And a lot of you, if you say, that's me, all those inflamed areas, I'm in so much pain, my spine, my knees, etc. One of the things we wanted to talk about today with, again, not rain, not bad weather, but a slight change, right? And barometric
Yeah.
pressure, aspects that create issues. Why do we get pain, Dr. Neary, from rain, from ice, from snow, from all these different conditions outside, and then it affects
Yeah.
our body? Why does this happen?
So, especially this time of year, this is a big time where I see a lot of people coming in with headaches.
Mhm.
They go, why do I have so many headaches? My knee hurts, my shoulder hurts, all these conditions that come in. The barometric pressure. Oh, like you look outside, oh, it's so nice. And then 12 hours later, there's a huge storm that comes in and it's raining. And then it goes from 75 to 45. The barometric pressure has such a negative effect on our bodies. We have, let me take my glass off. We have 4 different sinuses,
Mhm.
like groups of sinuses in our head here. There's air in there. There's air on the outside. And as the barometric pressure drops, this pressure doesn't change. The weather affects there. So we have, think of when you go from in an airplane and you're going from 35,000 feet down to 10, your ears pop, there's a pressure change.
Right.
So as the barometric pressure changes in the atmosphere, that affects our heads, that affects our sinuses, and there we are, the frontal, the ethmoid, the maxillary, and the sphenoid sinuses. And I'm really interested to talk about the sphenoid science here, sinus. As those pressure changes, it increases it and it causes headaches. So if you're getting headaches during this time of year, you're not alone. It's very common with a barometric pressure change to get headaches. Yeah.
One of the things that people would probably correlate is you think about being in an airplane, or you think if any of you have ever gone scuba diving, or you get into a pool, which we're almost in pool season, then you go down and someone's got, either you or someone has a pool that's 8 feet and you're like, oh, my ears, right? Just like you were
Right.
talking about. So you know that aspect, but yes, you could be going all day long. And if people have arthritis or osteoarthritis and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
and sometimes they think, is it really that I am having an issue because of the weather, or am I just making that up? They're not
No,
making it up.
they're not making it up. And the other thing is with our joints, not just the sinuses. When we go into our joints, wrist, elbows, shoulders, knees, hips, there's a capsule around them, and that has air and gases in them also. So when the pressure changes, it affects those as well. So the old wives' tale, oh, my knee hurts, it's going to rain tomorrow.
Yep.
Everyone's like, oh, you're crazy. No, it's actually a thing, because the barometric pressure is dropping, pressure changes in the joints, and people feel pain in joints as that pressure changes. It's
And
very common.
a lot of people also, if they had just had surgery, they're only a few weeks post surgery, or they're a couple months post surgery, they really start to feel the
Oh
pain
yeah.
from that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The post-surgical stuff is just because everything's so fresh also. Yeah, that's a big one.
So there you go, because we're dispelling what you think might be a myth or a rumor or an old wives' tale. No, this is actually a real thing. So next time you're feeling like, oh, I believe it's going to rain, or there's a change
Yeah.
in the shifting of the wind patterns and things like that. So having said that, is there anything they can do in advance?
Absolutely. There's several holistic things that we can do, and then there's also, if those don't work, there's other things that we set off to. One of my biggest recommendations, especially this time of year with allergies and the change in barometric pressure, the neti pot. It's my
good.
favorite thing in the entire world.
Good to hear.
Yeah, neti pot. Make sure you're using the saline solution that they give you. And if you don't like that sensation, a lot of people hate
Feeling
it.
like you got seaweed and you're in an ocean.
Yeah. Oh, turn your head to the side.
Yeah.
There's something called a navage that is more of a jet stream that does it. But cleaning out our sinuses, our nasal cavity. This is our filtration system. As we're breathing, especially with allergies this time of year, we're getting so much gunk just up here. Clean that thing out.
How often should people be doing that?
Oh, I do it every day.
Oh, really?
I do.
Huh.
But if you don't like it, once, twice, 3 times a week type of thing, maybe every other day, it's fantastic for you.
You do have to get used to it because I was introduced to it, by the way, by a chiropractor. That's interesting
Yeah.
that you brought it up many, 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 many years ago. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I was like, oh, I don't like this feeling. But then you just have to get used to it. And then you're like, oh, okay, I got it. But it's like you're literally jumping into an ocean, a lot of salt water just at you quickly.
And you just drain everything out. Now, if you really, really, really want to hate me,
Oh, we love you.
Put a drop of peppermint essential oil in it.
Wow.
I know. But
what is that doing?
So peppermint clears your sinuses.
Okay.
It opens everything up. So once you put it directly in there, it opens everything up from the inside. But
don't put cayenne pepper.
No cayenne pepper. It burns while you're doing it, but once you're done, oh, you feel so great and so opened up.
So interesting. Okay, for all of you that maybe do it here or there, he's saying he does it every day, so that will help you. Here's a question I have, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but some people say, oh my gosh, it's allergy time. I hate it. I always know it's coming. And they've had allergies their whole life. And then there's people who've never had allergies. And then all of a sudden they get older and they get to a point they're like, oh, I've heard before that it's not that you're never going to have them in your life just because you didn't have them when you were younger. It's like it comes on like adult onset allergies.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So I read something years ago about poison ivy. People who are younger who they've never had poison ivy, and then all of a sudden as an adult they start to get it. It's a buildup effect. I think allergies might be the same way. I'm not entirely sure about that, but you might become more sensitive to things as we get older.
Yeah. So just because you didn't have it, don't think that you're like, haha, I don't have to go through that. All of you do. Oh, just wait. You might eat those words. Again, we're talking about different things today. We wanted to do a carryover on the dog issue. And I say dogs or cats. Again, should the pets be with you, just pay attention to your sleeping habits. And if you think that they are disrupted, if you think that you're tired a lot, you have got pain, you might want to see maybe this is the issue. Have them get down or just cuddle with them before you go to bed, and then just make your bed your sanctuary. Give them their bed. And again, the other thing is, like we said earlier, don't let them just jump in, try to invite them in. That's just you having boundaries, which they do need to learn, by the way. But yes, we love them. We just have to pay attention to ourselves. One of the things we're going to do coming up that I wanted you all to know, if anybody that's been in accidents, etc., I'm going into Dr. Neary. He gets an opportunity after 2.5 years to see what's happened. I have gone to physical therapy, vestibular therapy. I went to Center for Vision because we were talking about how it's affecting my eyes, and that's actually gotten a lot better. So it's a lot of patience. I know people think, oh, I've got this pain, I want it to go away immediately. But you have to think the damage that was done and then how long you've gone through it. So I'm really intrigued by going into you. One of the things, and I'm going to show it here on the slide, that has been affecting me, it's the occipital area.
Yeah.
And so do you see a lot of that with people that are in accidents?
Oh, yes. We'll get into one of these segments here in a couple of weeks with whiplash. But yes, the occipital lobe there. When you were in your accident, you whipped back and forth, and your occipital lobe there, right in the back, went way into extension and into flexion. And the occipital lobe, that's where our vision is housed. That's everything everything we see goes back here. And if that's disrupted, you get dizziness. Nausea is another really big one.
Yep.
And did you experience that also?
And that's the biggest thing that all the people that have played a role in my care over the last 2.5 years. Yes, we were constantly talking about, did I have dizziness? Did I have nausea? Did I have blurred vision? Did I have double vision? Do I have balance issues?
Yeah.
When I started going to the neurologist, it was a wake up call of, Wow, I guess this was worse than I thought it was because you know
Yeah.
me, you figured me out. Now I'm go go go, and it was really a wake up call. What? Wait,
What?
breaking news!
You?
When I went to the neurologist for the first time, and we're just going through and checking reflexes and all of that, and he had me go out and walk a straight line. It literally looked like somebody that an officer would pulled over that was drunk. I could not believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "What's
So
wrong with me? I have crazy great balance," and he's like, "Well, not right now."
we have there's 3 spots in our bodies for balance.
Yeah.
Number 1, the eyes.
Mhm.
2, the inner ear,
Mhm.
and then back here in the occipital lobe.
Yeah.
That which is why if somebody is in very good health, you can sit there, you can close your eyes, you can stand on one foot.
Yes.
But if one of the other spots is not functioning correctly,
Yep.
oh, they just topple over.
And I did. And
Yeah.
yeah, I actually do that with clients when I'm personal training. I'm like, "Okay, now let's do this balance thing, closing your eyes." And it freaks them
Yeah.
out. For me, I've done that for so many years. And when he told me to do that, I was like, "Oh, no problem." And all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa."
Well,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was again, anybody that's ever been in an accident, please don't put these things off. Do your level of care. For
Yes.
me, the neurologist and the physical therapist and the vestibular therapist, they all wanted me to wait on acupuncture, massage, chiropractic care, etc. So I put those off. I am now full blown into all of those.
Good.
You all know I'm very big into functional, traditional medicine. I like the blend of them, but I do go a lot towards holistic and homeopathic and natural ways as much as I possibly can. And you do you. Again, I want you to take care of yourself, but at least try to have an open mind to do this traditional care. But is this going to help you?
Right. And
Right.
also, if you have questions, should I do this? Should I not do this?
Right.
Send them over to me. Like
Yeah.
I will answer all your questions. Because a lot of people don't get the answers from their primary care doctors. But we'll take the time and address your issues.
So let's go ahead and do that. Give them your information so they can find you.
314-966-8989. We are at 1030 Old De Pere Road, right at Manchester and 270. You can also email me. I'm just gonna throw this out there. DrNearydc@gmail. Send me your questions. I will reply.
And Michelle will drop that for you in the comments, but it's Dr. Neary, DC, Doctor of Chiropractic at Gmail. That way you can email, you can call to set up your appointment. And I know a lot of our viewers have been contacting you to come in, which I absolutely love.
Oh, yes, they have. It's wonderful.
And that's what we want, right? So the support of those that are a part of our team, and then all of you that watch, that's what we always need. That you want this show to stick around, then you need to do that. So let me put here on the bottom of the screen, please share, like, follow our live streams. Again, we are on Facebook and YouTube and X and Instagram and Rumble. And so there's multiple platforms, because I know there's a lot of people that say, hey, I'm not on Facebook, or my family and friends are not. Where can they watch? We make sure that we have multiple platforms. And for a lot of people who don't want to be on social media, and I get that, you need a little break sometimes. That's why we do the YouTube aspect. And please, when I say subscribe, it does not mean that you're paying anything. It means to just follow, so you get that instant notification that we have gone on air. So thank you, by the way. And I'm excited. I'm coming into you this week.
Yes.
And so you want to do that next Monday to showcase, to show what I've actually been through?
Yes, if you're willing to put that stuff up, I will go over everything that we talked about. Yes.
Yeah, and then that way you'll get a chance to see my experience and what it would look like for you to go in. If you've never been to a chiropractor before, we'll also talk about some of that, and let's dispel some of the things that are out there of people saying, "Oh, well, I thought if I go to a chiropractor, this happens or this happens." We got to get rid of that old mindset, because that's not true. They're truly going to be able to help you get out of that pain that you're in. So again, it's Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab, taking care of you, your body, etc. Enjoy the eclipse today.
I hope everyone enjoys the eclipse today. And yes, I'm so excited for this.
I look forward to hearing about your experience. And again, safety glasses.
Safety.
All right, everybody, stick around. When we return, we'll wrap things up and tell you what's coming up for the rest of the week. Thanks, Dr. Neary.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
All right, welcome back. It is again Solar Eclipse Day, and we started our show with aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore, and I wanted to bookend the show that way. So one more time, checking in with Beckett. He's in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I just love your setup. I mean, it looks super, super cool. Where are you staying? Are you at your hotel right now? Or are you at a house? Because that background's amazing.
Yeah, we're at a rental house in Hot Springs Village. It's about 20 minutes north of downtown Hot Springs, but really in the Hot Springs area, and there's a ton of golf courses, lakes as well. Really cool place.
So what did you what was your biggest takeaway from today? I know we really enjoyed our interview with Don, but what was the biggest thing you learned from him?
Mainly how big of a difference it makes to be in totality versus not in totality. Even if you're at 99.9%, it's still going to not be the same versus if you are in totality. I think that's the main thing that really shocked me, because I always thought 99.9%, that's basically the same thing, but it's really not.
Right. And there was a question that came in, and people, I'm thinking about back in 2017, I was at MoDOT headquarters. And so there was, people in my ear telling me all these different things. And then we went out, and then everybody that was there at that very given point were told, okay, you can take the glasses off. So somebody said, when will we know that we can actually take the glasses off and actually look up?
So once it gets dark, if you're taking photos and you see that it's totally dark, there's no more sun, that's when you can take the glasses off. And for most places in the center of totality, we'll get around 4 minutes to 3 minutes, and then 2 minutes and 1 minute on the edge of totality. That's when you can take the glasses off.
Yeah, and then I think the thing that I found, and I was there were so many channels this morning, nationally, locally as well, and everybody was talking about the same thing that you and I discussed with Don, which was the animals. The animals freak out, the insects, again, the silence of it all, and the fact that they would think, okay, it's time to go to sleep.
Yes, it's very interesting. I remember last year that happened, or last time that happening, and it's just kind of bizarre how it's happened just in the middle of the day.
Well, I'm super excited for you. Like I said, you were only 7 years old the last time, and here he is. When is your birthday, by the way? When are you going to be 15?
October 26th.
October 26th. All right, we got to make sure that we celebrate Beckett, because he wasn't with us back in October. He and I were discussing this, and so you joined us right at the beginning of the year. I still love, my favorite thing with you and I together until today, because today's a big phenomenon as well, is the thunderstrike that you and I saw live on the air.
Yes, that was awesome. Really cool moment.
Well, and we're putting something together, by the way, for those of you that are new to our show, and welcome aboard, by the way. There are a ton of people watching us right now on X, and I think that a lot of that has to do with this young gentleman, because he tells people to watch, live on this show. So thank you for doing that. Right now, I think there's about 92 live viewers.
Nice.
We've got a handful still left on Facebook. We're not on Instagram today, which is unfortunate. I don't know why that didn't trigger. And then Rumble, continuing to add platforms so you can see the wonderful work that he does. Beckett, when are you traveling back? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes.
Okay, so when are you going to check in with us again?
I think on Wednesday we can do that.
Wednesday? All right, because I cannot wait to hear from you what your experience was. One more time for all of you, wherever you're watching today, please remember to have the safety glasses. We gave you the aspect of checking. Now, look at yours. Make sure that they have the right number on it, Beckett. I don't want you hurting your eyeballs.
Yes. What's the number again?
Oh, so you want to make sure that it is ISO, and then it has all the numbers, but the main thing is that it says -2.
Yes, it
Have
does.
the -2. Okay, because the ones that are being recalled say -1, and that's what NASA and everybody else is worried about. So
Okay.
he's got the cool setup. He's going to be taking tons of pictures. Do me a favor, tell them where they can follow you so they can see you for the rest of today.
More Weather on X and YouTube, MOORE Weather, both platforms. That's where you can follow me, and I'll have hopefully some photos. Fingers crossed we get some cool photos out of this telescope on there later today.
And I'm sure you will. Well, thank you, Beckett, again for everything that you do every time you're on with us for the last several months. And we are excited to have you as a part of our team for as long as you want. You are a part of our team.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, that's Beckett Moore, again, aspiring meteorologist. We are super excited to be checking in with him on Wednesday. He'll be back with us and tell us about his experience. And for all of you, by the way, let us know throughout the rest of the day. Drop some comments in on this actual show. Let me know where you ended up watching from. Let me know what you experienced, what your kids or your grandkids, your animals. Again, I'll be keeping an eye on our dogs. Don't let them outside, by the way. We were talking with Jessica with Yuppie Puppies last week, and she said during playtime, they'll make sure that all the animals are inside because you got to protect their eyeballs as well. And I like the questions that came in earlier. No, you cannot just put regular sunglasses on. You got to make sure you have those safety glasses. Before we wrap up, let me make sure we address all the comments. Marilyn had said thank you to Dr. Neary. Her entire adult life, she is on number 5 of the mini schnauzers, and over the last 50 years, they love to cuddle. Now more than ever, I need this little bed partner. Yeah, some people are against it, some people are for it. Rose says we do it now, but never again with the next dog. She leans up against us and our backs are killing us. I guess little dogs are better, but not an 80-pound pit mix. Yes. So Adelaide does it. Opus doesn't. He stays in his crate. He's still kind of scared after being abused. We've had him for a couple years. He's definitely coming around, but you can tell a difference. It's definitely Tessa, who's about 50 pounds, and she just does that big slam. It's crazy. Richard said the dude takes up more room in the bed than my wife. He only gets in the bed for an afternoon nap every now and then. Linda agrees with Jim. No pets or children in your bed. Save cuddle time for when you're awake. Julie, Fabian, and Richard were both talking about the headache aspect, the migraines. We're going to go more in depth about migraines in the coming weeks, by the way. One of the things we love about Medical Mondays is we can put together functional and traditional medicine. And I told Dr. Neary that I want to address migraines, what you can do for those headaches in coming weeks. If your spine, if your neck is bothering you, your cervical area, your thoracic, so many aspects of the back and the spine. We went on Friday, like I mentioned. We're going to go more in depth in that next Monday. We're going to show you not only mine, but Jim's as well. He took the x-rays of our neck, and you're supposed to have that natural curve. What does ours look like? And what took place, his level of care is just second to none. So if you're looking for a really wonderful doctor to take care of those headaches, take care of your back, then Mid-America Spine and Rehab is the place for you. Yeah, Richard said barometric pressure is definitely a trigger for migraines, and it's been bad recently. Rose said her doctor calls them barometric headaches. And as she speaks, she said, my face and eyes are swollen. The doc is right on about it. I know when it's going to rain. I wish I could predict the Powerball numbers. Neti pots are awesome. Yes, Sherry Rockledge said last eclipse we worked together. This one, she's at the Trout Lodge. Oh, very cool to see it on the lake. Oh, that'll be beautiful. I love the Trout Lodge. They've got a women's wellness retreat that I just love. I agree 100%. Love this guy. Missed the first part. Well, that's the beauty of streaming, right? You get a chance to go back and watch from the beginning. But we love our live interaction with you. Hope and pray for recovery. Let's see. I have carpal tunnel surgery. Well, wish you the best. Oh, you saw it back in 2017. Yep, love it. Terry, I got 2 pairs from my neighbors. Well, that's cool. See, I love they are the proper kind as well. I left Dr. Sarah a message Friday afternoon. I'm excited to get a consultation. Oh, Richard, I'd love to hear that. So he's going in to see Dr. Sarah at Invita Health and Wellness. And that is, of course, our title sponsor. So I'll put that on the bottom of the screen, our final gratitude again, before we wrap up the show. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about the 1904 World's Fair. So how many of you know Patrick Murphy? He was affiliated with PBS for a long, long time. He is going to be our guest tomorrow to talk about his latest World's Fair book. And then we'll talk about, speaking of animals, Care STL. Weng Horak is going to be my guest. They've got their big gala. Their inaugural gala is coming up on Friday, April 26th. Tickets, by the way, still available. If you've ever wanted to be at an event where I'm emceeing or auctioneering and you want to help out the animals, that would be a great opportunity for you. Care STL, their gala again on April 26th. This coming Saturday, I'm excited to do the red and white auction for Incarnate Word. If you're going to be there, you'll get a chance to meet me. Please come up and say hi and get ready because we have 31 auction items. So you want to talk about raising some big money for Incarnate Word. There's going to be a fund in need and the auction. So if you didn't know, yes, I do auctioneering. I do MC work. We do motivational speaking here and across the country. Styling. That's why behind me, actually, Actually, Dr. Neary asked me when we went to a commercial break, what's the name of my mannequin? And I said, that's Monique. I'm the real Monica Adams. This is Monique Contine. That's my design name. So that's her name back there. Styling, yes, we do personal training, just life coaching, just everything to balance you out and inspire you. And I want to make sure that you all know that because we have so many people. We've got 98 live viewers right now on X. So welcome aboard. I love the fact that we are able to put this show on multiple platforms. So again, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble right now. Instagram, unfortunately, didn't fire, but we'll be sure to take the best of today and put those reels and stories out there. Do me a favor, though, continue to spread the word and let people know. And I mentioned Thursday is a great opportunity for anyone that by chance would want us to bring our show live to them and be able to give all of these viewers the notoriety that you all deserve, because I know you're great. If you're watching the show, I know you're a great human being and you want to give back to the world. Just let me know. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. And then next Thursday, our mobile Monica will be at Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa in Cottleville. The following Thursday is open as well. If you by chance would want us to come to your business, we've got two opportunities in the month of April, this coming Thursday and then on the 25th. All right. Some cool things to come for sure. I cannot wait to bring our show to you. Thank you all so very much for being a part of our show, for spreading the word, because it just keeps growing. And by the way, I didn't get a chance to thank everybody just yet, but I just looked and we did in fact surpass 24,000. We're at 24,126 followers right now on Facebook. So we are closing in on 25,000. And I'm coming up with something exciting that we're going to give away to our 25,000 follower. We'll pick that. Or maybe we'll just grab something from maybe over the last 500, something on those lines. I'm still coming up with that. But when we hit 25,000 followers, we're going to do something big for you on Facebook. And then let's continue to grow our X following. We've got 7,043 followers there. 99 of you are viewing right now. Do me a favor and come back day after day because we're here for you Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Let's grow that YouTube audience as well. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Subscribe means you're just following so that you know when we go on live. And just to let you know, it's Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Spreading the word of positivity and hope and light to give you everything that you need. Let's see, Crystal, you'll have to show us some of your auctioneering talents. Well, we're putting together a little promo to show you all of that. You see it in some of the pictures, but yeah, I'll do that. We'll make sure that we film for the ones that are coming up. Incarnate Word, we've got, as I said, Care STL. I'm going to be at a Rainbows for Kids event. That's more of the speaking engagement side, but you got it, Crystal and Richard. Whatever you'd like. Tell me what you would want more of on this show, and we'll do that for you. All right. Go out. Enjoy this total eclipse day. I can't wait to see and talk to you tomorrow when we have Patrick Murphy on. Be sure to drop in comments and let me know where you watched it, what your kids said, what your grandkids said, what you thought of it. Again, enjoy it because it won't happen again. I would say in our lifetime. It's 2505 is what he said. That's absolutely crazy. Everybody, beautiful to you. Thank you for being incredible human beings and share that love of kindness. Go out and be kind to everybody you meet today. Enjoy the solar eclipse. God bless you all.